Night, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. Um, I don't want to get too specific because obviously I don't want to ruin the film for everybody. But I read the book, and you know, when you're adapting something like this that's an existing kind of material, what I suppose like what kind of criteria do you have for making changes? I mean, is it a case of, you've read the book or you've read the material and you've wanted to kind of write your own, say, beginning or your own ending? Or is it a case of you want to kind of shift something more kind of specific? Or I suppose, like, what's your kind of criteria for changing something that's an existing material?
I don't think there's a hard and fast rule. With this
Sure.
particular source material, I had a very clear reaction of, at a certain point in the source material, they go left in a way that um, I would had a hard time with, and I felt that the premise and the setup was so beautiful and so strong that you want to fulfill that promise. And you can't have a story that's about a choice and not have a choice. I felt very strongly about it, and that
Yeah.
you have to trust your amazing idea and let it play beautifully through the piece. I don't care what the decision is. Really,
Mm.
you could do either anything you want, but they have to make a decision. And so when I read the material, I felt like this is the most beautiful setup. So let me tell that story and just change the title, and I'll do my own version of it.
Yeah. I mean, just out of curiosity, I mean, did Paul Tremblay, I mean, he's a great writer and I've read a lot of his stuff, and I'm wondering, I mean, was there any kind of discussion with him taking a swing at the screenplay, or was he happy enough to just give you the concept and away you go kind of thing?
Yeah, no, I always, I mean, for me, I have to direct it. I feel like I have to write it. It
Right.
comes out so specifically. It'd be hard for me to imagine someone else writing, the characters and the dialogue and the movement and the rhythms, and, it's so specific. But I did talk to him after I decided to do it, and I said, hey, Paul, I want to do this, but I got to tell you, I'm going to do X, Y, Z to the story. And what surprised me is he's like, that's what I was thinking of doing the first time. When I first thought of it, I thought maybe I should do that. And I said, great, great. So at least we were coming from the same place.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. Um, I don't know why now. Maybe it's just because like it's the log cabin and maybe like the font at the start or something. But when I was watching this, it kind of misery was in my head
Uh-huh.
in the sense of like it's a pressure cooker inside this beautiful ideal. And I'm wondering, I mean, were there any specific films you were watching during either pre-production or post-production?
Yeah, I mean, I get Misery is such a wonderful book and film.
Mm,
And but it was more. There isn't movies that go one to one like that, but I'm always inspired by those contained movies that center around an event, but in one place, like Night of the Living Dead or The Birds. But those two are, iconic
mm.
things that really brought it down. But even The Exorcist, these are all These are the movies posters that are around my house. So these are like the classics, and so they're all kind of moving towards one location.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Final question, and this is something I'm going to ask everybody. If you were put in that position, what do you think you'd do?
I depends on when the clock runs out. It is that's what the movie is even about, is kind of deliberating, and if the clock ran at a different time, the characters would have made a different decision.
Yeah,
And
true.
and for me, I can see if I could get my head around it at a certain way, I might make one decision, but if I didn't have the time to do that, I would make a different decision.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the whole film, isn't it? Like, it's how do you deliberate at different points in the kind of the
Yeah.
story, I guess. Yeah.
It's really a point of view how you're looking at it emotionally to feel good about a decision.
If you fail to choose, the world will end.